want to go back to Willie the Kid's episode, and there's a viral clip that went out of Willie talking about how you guys met, the first time you met him. And I'll paraphrase it, but I'd like more of your side of the story, because it went crazy on LinkedIn and on Facebook, and it was one of those that Willie the Kid was working in the studio and you were somehow around there. But there was some issue or something that he needed, and you just said, "How can I help?" Yeah. And Willie was blown away by it. He's like, "Who's this guy asking me, how can I help you?" So what was that moment, and what was, just talk about how that moment then became fast forward to this multi-pronged, business ventures together.
It was cool, man. He was in my neighborhood. He was on my block on Sherman Street. And, him and another mutual friend of ours, they were doing music together or whatever. And I already knew who he was. He already had a reputation. He had already, moved to Atlanta or whatever. And, he was, and he's an amazing artist. Will's an amazing artist. And, man, we got to give that man his flowers, while he's here. Because, coming out of Grand Rapids, going to college down there in Atlanta, and then, signing a major recording contract in the industry, that's no small feat. Right. So he really opened up a lot of doors. But he was building that buzz to be able to sign that major recording contract at that time. And I knew who he was before that. And Will's a little bit older than me. And so when he was down there and he needed something, I was like, oh, I gotta, look out for him. I gotta do that. I respected the art. I'm a kid that grew up on hip hop. So, listening to, Nas and Biggie and Wu-Tang, that was the formation of how I viewed the world. They were saying things, that were going on that I was seeing in my neighborhood. And I related to that. And Willie even brought that home even more because, he was right there. He's from the city. He's from Southeast Grand Rapids, from a different neighborhood. But, the things that he was talking about were actively going on. And so I jumped at the opportunity.
Well, and what's funny is that I became aware of Willie the Kid through his business ventures, not through his music. Exactly. That's a blind spot in my, catalog of music that I dip into. There's, it's just outside, and to know somebody locally who'd been successful, just kind of off my radar. Even though I think I listen to a lot of different music, but. Point is, I came to know him through, or came to hear of him through your partnerships and doing some things. And I was looking into it. I was like, holy shit, this guy's got this whole other music career. Really is from Atlanta now, essentially. But, he's in Grand Rapids, of course. But
Grand Rapids
putting his money here, what I mean? Like really creating opportunities here.
What I told him is, bro, you're down there in Atlanta, and you've been down there for years and, have built up quite a beautiful life down there. But I said, your money will go further up here at home. And I said, we're working with venture capital, up here in Grand Rapids. And me and Jamil had a lot going on within the business ecosystem, and we're finding different ways to invest our resources. And I said, hey, man, you need to be intentional about investing back home, and you should do it with us. Because me and Will already had, GRUSA, so we had a venture together, and we have some other things that we don't talk about that we do together. But I said, you need to be more intentional about investing at home, because this is where that impact will most be felt. Mm-hmm. In Atlanta, there are a ton of black millionaires. There's probably a couple people who are close to being billionaires out of the city. Atlanta doesn't need you to be a business success in order for their operation to keep going. But in Grand Rapids, where we're the second worst city economically for African Americans, for them to see your success, for that to be represented, at our alma mater, Ottawa Hills High School, for that to be represented downtown, for that to be represented in scholarships that we give out, that means more to this community than you can ever imagine, and it's your legacy. Here is where your legacy is cemented, not down in Atlanta.
This Full Exposure podcast episode has been made possible through the support of Metro Health, University of Michigan Health, and Dr. Peter Hahn, who believe that creativity and the arts are essential to a rich, healthy, and fulfilling life.